take the last sort of 10, 15 minutes just to reflect on the day and on the project a little bit. We first wanted to very quickly invite Teo to talk about La Feria, which was mentioned a moment ago, to give some more context, but also as an example of how some of the outputs from this project are being taken forward by other projects and partners. And then after that, we'll have some final conclusions from two of our younger partners and members of the team before we close for the day. But Teo, please, the floor's yours for a couple of minutes. Tell us about La Feria.
Yeah, I'll be quite quick. So La Feria is a New Horizon Europe project that started last year, in January last year. And actually a few of the partners that were in this project are already there. So there's Guy, there's Marlinda at the back, that's also here. There's also Step that's back, and Sebastian Lachner, who are all involved in this Agroecology-TRANSECT project. So what does it look at? It looks at landscape features, and it looks at the reintroduction and the maintenance of landscape features in intensive agricultural areas, so specifically intensive. And it's looking at it from a number of different angles, social, economic, and also mapping angle, as a number of work packages. One of the work packages has mapped actually the current level of landscape features across a number of case studies, because we have basically 6 case studies in 6 different member states, both in most of the regions of Europe. We then have also one work package that looks at the business case, basically the business case for farmers to actually uptake those landscape features and reintroduce them on their farms, and also the perceptions that they have on those on landscape features. Actually, another very interesting part of the project, which is already well on the way, is we have a database with initiatives. So we've conducted a lot of interviews, and we've identified a lot of initiatives that have already started reintroducing landscape features, and you can find that online. We already have above 100, I think, initiatives. Marlinda will know more. 200 now? Okay. We have 200 initiatives already online, and we're also creating a network so they can talk to each other, share best practices, etc. Amongst themselves. And then obviously there's going to be the dimension of translating it into policy moving forward. Yeah, and so there's a few of us here, so if you want to talk to us, feel free.
Thank you, Teo. Yeah, thanks. Or you can leave that on there now. Yeah, thank you. And just before I pass on to the very closing comments, just to echo what was said before about the policy briefs that are on your chairs, please do take them home. We've got quite a lot in the room next. If you have somewhere where you can share them, or colleagues to share them with, often we find in paper is much more tangible than a PDF file emailed. So please grab in the room next door on the table. There's one of each policy briefs and one of the postcards we've got. On the postcards, which were also on your chair, there is on one side a QR code with a link to our brand new project toolkit, which is a kind of online resource with all the tools and outputs from the project in one place in a way that's really easy to use for different stakeholders, from farmers to other researchers. So it's sort of got a bit of finalizing to do, but it's now live on the link there. So please take some time to have a look at that and share that with colleagues. And we're in the last couple of months of the project, we'll be adding our last kind of resources and make sure we've got all of our papers that have been published and references and more information to everything you've heard about today. So I think that's what I wanted to say on that. And all of our outputs, including today, can be all our online webinars are available on YouTube. So there's a rich resource of all the elements of the project that we've held events on and done public external things. So it's well worth looking at that too. So I think that's it. I'm going to invite maybe first Raquel and then Stephen, and then we can go out into the heat.
Well, I just took some notes along the day of the learnings of today, but also of the learnings of these 4 years. So first of all, there is evidence on the multiple benefits of agroecology and multiple biodiversity indicators, but also on climate change. Bertrand showed that there is a little bit more emission of CO2 on agroecological practices, but luckily it's not nitrous oxide that has almost 300 times more global warming potential than CO2. So we are in the good side. Also, we have learned that we need existing policies, such as the Common Agricultural Policy, to align for supporting agroecology. We need policy coherence, also in terms of indicators. And also we need voluntary guidelines and regulations to be legally binding. We have learned also this morning in the first block that we need to continue building alliances with social movements, but also with the organic sector, with scientists, advisors, etc. Also, we just learned that we need investments, not just supporting agroecology in paper, but to channel funding for real support to farmers. Also, early this afternoon, we learned from the work done by Stephen and Darlene that there is a need for transdisciplinary research that really supports innovation on the ground, but that put farmers in the center. But also we need, there is a need for adapting research so we can adapt, our learning cycles, and also that we support medium and long-term learning processes. We also have learned today that narratives do matter since they shape ideas and also the logics behind policies. And a special contribution from the part that I did research on that social movements and civil society organizations do play a key role in advancing a political and transformative agroecology. So that's it from the learnings of today from my part. And Stephen, if you want to share. And I want to thank all the people that were invited and then contributed in their own tables, because I also have a lot of learning from them. So also like take-home messages and like legacy for new projects. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks Raquel. That was a great summary of what we learned today, and you touched on a lot of things that I also noticed. So I'll focus maybe more on a message that I will take going forward, and that is that I think the most important thing for agroecology going forward is this creating of an enabling framework that is connected to the realities on the ground. And I think a big part of that is moving beyond the focus on just producing and production and farmers, but also including society as a whole, and really focusing on how can we build social majorities, how can we facilitate public dialogues around agroecology as not just a part of a farming system, but as part of a new vision of human flourishing. And I think a big part of that as well is this focus on political imagination and social imagination. How can we think beyond some of these systems and structures that are limiting what we can do now?
Thank you, Raquel and Stephen, for what felt like quite a poetic reflection on the day and on the project. So thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming in quite extreme weather conditions for what hopefully you agree is quite an important discussion topic. I want to also extend a thank you to everyone in the project, but particularly Bertrand. This is the last time we'll be together as a project. If you've worked with him, you'll know that Bertrand is the glue that brings Agroecology-TRANSECT together, and it wouldn't have been possible without his kind of hard work, care, and amazing brain. So I'd just like a round of applause for Bertrand, do you mind? And a thank you as well to CSIC, who have hosted us here in the call today as well. Thank you, CSIC. And I hope everyone has a safe and bearable journey home, however far you have to go. Thank you for coming. Thanks.